Hey, wrestling fans. My name is Mark Adelman. I'm known as Firestone Fan on Yappy. It's been a couple years since we've done a live, or this isn't going to be live, it'll be taped, but it's been a couple years since we did a wrestling show going over some of the teams, tournaments. We're looking to start doing it again here at Nightline TV. Before I really get into stuff, us at Nightline wish everyone a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. You guys will probably see this before that. I have with me tonight Max Pearce, McLaren 7 on Yappy. He does a lot of the district breakdowns and rankings, and he does a heck of a job. I'm going to go over some stuff real quick in the PTC. We're going to just talk over some of the results that I have here. I'm mainly a PTC guy this year. I am going to try and get a ranking out before New Year's for the Northwest sectional and the St. Vincent St. Mary sectional. If things go perfect, I might be able to get something out for the West Branch and Lake Catholic so that I get all four sectionals for the Alliance District represented this year, but it's so hard with all the results that I get. And then Max is going to go over Kenston, Brecksville, and Medina somewhat, and I'll chime in if I know anything. So that's our outline for today's program. Let me get my glasses on since now I can't see. I'm getting old. Okay, we're going to look at some of the PTC wrestlers here, and Max, if you have anything, you can chime in. I did have a whole bunch more results. My printer ran out of ink, so I'm kind of winging it here. As far as the PTC Metro right now, Ravenna beat Norton in a dual meet, and I have those results. And looking over the results here, see if there was anything that looked, any upsets that I see. I know Farmer from Norton, who's a district qualifier, I think he was a district placer last year, 6th I think, and he beat Mazzola from Ravenna by fall at 152. These weights are early season weights. I don't know. Where are you projecting Farmer? You think he's going to drop?
I would guess just because he wrestled, I think like 32 last year, or
Yeah,
38.
he was 32.
But yeah, I usually just look at where they're at right now. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm guessing he'll probably drop at some point to 45. But I know Mazzola was bigger last year. He was
Yeah.
up at 160, and he's down from 160 to 152 this year.
Yeah, Mazzola was, if I'm not mistaken, was a district qualifier. Farmer won by fall over Mazzola in their duel. Now the dual meet score was Ravenna 39, Norton 30. You can check our website. We do have live action from last week where Crestwood beat Ravenna 35-31 in a dual meet. It came down to the last match. There was a lot of chess playing by the coaches, jumping weights because of some forfeits, and it was a heck of a dual meet. So Ravenna has a loss to Crestwood. Norton has a loss to Ravenna. On January 8th, we're going to be doing a dual meet at Field, providing we get the permission from Field High School, which we always have. And Norton, Coventry, and Crestwood will meet each other, and Norton has beat Coventry in a duel also. I look for Norton and Crestwood to fight it out for the dual meet championship that night. I don't see any other teams getting in there. And in the county division, Southeast upset Ritztown. Well, not upset. They beat Ritztown. Our last match, though, had to be a heck of a duel. By fall, Southeast wins at 220 to beat Ritztown, the defending champions in the county division. Woodridge has been beaten by both teams, Southeast and Ritztown. But I don't think they're at full strength right now. They wrestle Southeast in a duel in February. I'm pretty sure the beginning of February might be the end of January. And that the only way that Southeast is going to lose the PTC dual county title would be for Woodridge to beat them. I'm not seeing. Okay, some of the kids here in the Ravenna, Norton, and we're kind of going to be jumping around because I don't have all my results. But some of the Norton kids, Norton's wrestling without Sean Rutherford right now. Uh, he's a 3-time state placer. He's their leader of their team. And when he comes back, I really look for Norton to. They're going to give Crestwood all that they need, and there's a good possibility they can beat them for the dual meet title. You have any thoughts on that, Max?
Yeah, definitely. I think they have another heavyweight, Bischoff, I think is the kid's name.
Yep.
I think he did real well this last week at Hudson. Might have taken third. I think he actually pinned Mike Bell from Howland there, who was a state alternate at heavyweight a couple years ago. And he kind of works his way into the lineup with Glass graduating. I think he was their heavyweight last year. So yeah, with Rutherford there, Wide, Farmer, it should be a pretty good dual meet.
Hagen Bush.
Yeah, absolutely. Another guy who won at Hudson this last week.
Yeah, in fact, I wish I had all my results, but at least I have the names. The 160 for Norton won Hudson. Williams.
Yeah.
And their 170, C.J. Williams, took third.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I didn't even know that much about those guys, but it's pretty impressive performance by them.
Yeah, they're real deep. They're good head-to-head matchups in that duel. Whoever matches up with Roble, right now it would be Hagenbush. I don't know if he's going to drop. I noticed that at the Wayne Invitational Tournament, Billy Rose from Southeast took second place, and he beat some good wrestlers. I have some note here. Carter Casper from Fairless, who was a district qualifier 2 years ago when Fairless was at Alliance, and then last year they dropped down to D3, and he was at Garfield Heights. But Hagenbush finished third, but he did not meet Rose, so that's a possibility there. And then Rose he got beat by Sadler from Richtown. He got pinned by Sadler this week, or last weekend in their duels. We've seen Springfield. Springfield's depleted. They have low numbers. Stubblefield, their 106 looks pretty good though. He was a district qualifier last year. Looking through the results here. Southeast has beat Streetsboro. Southeast beat Field. One match that Field of the team, they don't have the numbers that they've had in the last couple years. They have a new coach. But Mathia from Field wrestled Roble to a 7-5 match. We have that duel on video on demand, if anyone would like to see it. Roble really controlled the match. He had 3 takedowns and 3 kickouts, and then Mathia got 2 penalty points at the end of the match to make it 7-5. There wasn't a whole lot of offense other than the takedowns by Roble. And that 145 weight class in the PTC looks like it. If everybody stays there, you got Sadler from Richtown, Hagen, Bush, Roble. Mathia is a tough kid from Field. Southeast Billy Rose, I mentioned, took second at Wayne Invitational.
Yeah. Even if you see Hagenbush drop, you could have Farmer there, state alternate last year.
Yep.
So yeah, it's probably could be the best way at the PTC this year.
Yeah.
45.
There's not one dominant team in a PTC like I've usually seen, but as I'm going through the results, and today's the first day that I got all the results that I probably every duel that has been wrestled, but I just got them this afternoon, so not everything is stuck in my memory, but going over the names, some of these weight classes are going to have some really good battles. We got Rowland from Streetsboro. He's at 220 right now. I think he'd be best to drop to 95. But I don't know. I haven't talked to any of any of those kids. I've seen Crestwood in 2 double duels so far this year, so I've talked to them. They have Steve Cox, who's a muscular, tough 220. And we've talked about Rutherford for Norton. There's a couple others. Mogador has a tough 220. Neep Sudge from Southeast. Uh,
Yeah,
let's see.
I think he's up from like 170 last year.
Neep Sudge.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think.
he had a nice win over a kid from Tuslaw in the duel who was actually a D3 state qualifier last year. Woolheater, I think, is the kid's name.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, right here it is. Yeah, he beat Woolheater 4-3. Uh, and then now Neep Sudge is at 220. And the reason I wanted to bring him up now, Borkowski from Kenmore was a district qualifier a couple years ago. I didn't see anything from him last year. Neep Sudge beat him, actually pinned him in the first period at WIT. He got beat by Verdon from New Philadelphia, 4-2, real close score. Now, Rowland beat Neep Sudge in a dual meet, 6-1. But Tommy Rowland, or not Tommy Rowland, Rowland's from Streetsboro, won the Hudson tournament, beaten Verdon from New Philly 2-0, I think it was. Real close score. Verdon beat Neep Sudge real close. You know, there's other than Rutherford. I think that there's going to be. I think there's going to be some kids that we're going to want to drop to 95, but at 95 you got the Bolance kid from Waterloo.
Yeah,
who,
state qualifier last year.
Yeah, you know, there's not, like I was saying, there's not a team, a killer team like Crestwood from a couple years ago, but I think that there's going to be some really good battles once everybody decides what weight they're going to go to. I was really hoping in the dual meet last week to see Winning from Ravenna wrestle Coleman, because Winning did jump up, but then Crestwood jumped up Coleman to 95. You know, that's things like that is what makes dual meet wrestling exciting. You kind of jotted down some names earlier. Jenkins is a kid that I haven't mentioned. You know, we were talking about him before the show. He's a good wrestler during the season. I think it was 32 and 14 last year at all, you know, overall. But you know, I saw Rollins handled him pretty good in a dual meet, sectional. Pretty sure it was sectional. Well, Jenkins was a sectional fourth, but boy, he gets to Alliance and something clicks.
Yeah.
Because he's been to Columbus twice, and I think both times he was a sectional number 4.
Yeah, I think both of the last 2 years he lost to a field wrestler. I think one year was Heddick.
Yeah.
And then one year it was, who else did they have the year before?
I went to school with his dad, Eckhart.
Eckhart, yeah. And I don't think, like, one of them might have been a pin and the other might have been like 15-1. So he loses early to a field kid and comes all the way back through to qualify for state. I think he beat Jarrett Cropper, who had wrestled for Coventry to go to state, and then did he beat Roland to go to state?
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah. It's he deserves a lot of credit for, you know, peaking there's a lot to be said for peaking at tournament time, and it seems like he always does that.
Yeah, it's you know, it kind of amazes me what he does. You know, he definitely wasn't the favorite in my eyes in the match. But as the match went on, you could just see him gaining confidence and doing what he had to do. Let's talk a little bit about Woodridge while we're on the topic there, because they have a pretty tough team. Even though they're not winning their dual meets, they did beat Streetsboro, but they do have Jenkins. He's at 95. He has bounced around. Demetrius Tabler at 182.
He's tough.
He's a real tough kid. Thrower. Yeah, he's a real pinner, and I'm looking down from early season.
And then they got Yoho, right? I think he's all the way up at, like, I think I saw one result at 32.
Yeah.
He was a state alternate last year at 113. I think I lost a real close match to another tough freshman, Brian Persinger from Triway. But it looks like he's up in weight, up at like 132. I don't know if he'll make a cut at some point.
I think he has been at 26. I think I saw him. I don't have those results with me, but I do have Woodridge's results from their duels Thursday, and I'm pretty sure he wrestled 26 then. Yeah, he's a real tough wrestler. He's state ranked by Borough fan. Uh, and let me see. I'm just looking at some other kids. Teodecki at 45 is
Yeah.
tough.
Mercer's
at
pretty
52.
good.
Yeah, they have the potential. You know, looking at their lineup, they have the potential to give Southeast a rough match. Uh, it all depends on how certain kids progress. And Southeast is a young team also. Okay, what other teams have we not gotten into really? We've got Field. Kent, they're another team like Springfield. They're hurt by low numbers in the forfeits. I was impressed with their 138 Wallace.
Yeah.
He placed last year. I know he placed in the PTC tournament. Not exactly where, but he was there. Mogador's 220. Kelly is his name. He beat Neepsudge last week. In fact, he might have pinned him. I know that it was a pretty decisive win. There's another kid to add to the 220. And I hope we're pronouncing the names right, folks. You know, it's now Southeast is a team that we haven't really went over. I'll just look at what they did here at the WIT, and you might have some results from out that way. Max wrestled for Poland, by the way, and so he's going to hopefully step in here and help us out a lot this year. The more the merrier, because there's so many local kids and so many good kids in Northeast Ohio. It's so hard to keep track of them all, and I can't be in. I can only be in one place. Okay, it just is just a WIT invitational results, early season tournament. Let's see. At 113, Dylan Nicolino from Southeast finished second to Cody Woods from West Holmes. Now I've heard the Woods name from West Holmes. This wasn't a real strong tournament overall, but so Southeast has a lot of places that probably wouldn't place this high in, some say, the Hudson tournament, or especially not Medina, Brecksville. But some of these names you'll recognize. Cole Bailey, the Bailey name in Southeast.
I think he was like a couple matches away from placing at the middle school state tournament last year. Real good freshman.
Okay, he's a freshman. Well, just from his results that I have from the WIT, Travis McClellan is a district qualifier from Kenmore, and he beat him 10-4. Now, McClellan qualified out of the Northwest District, but he injured, or for some reason he didn't wrestle at Alliance. And Cole Bailey finished first at 120 at the WIT. Let's see, Brett Bailey, another Bailey, a 138 champion.
Yeah, I think he was sixth at the district last year. Lost to Farmer, I think, in the alternate final.
Yeah, I think so. And let's see. Well, those two, they bumped heads several times last year. You get in. PTC's a strong wrestling league.
Yeah.
And you know they got some depth. Let's see, Hunter McPeak from Southeast. We talked about him. He beat Hunter Flinner, a tough kid from Triway, at the WIT tournament.
Yeah. It's a type of match. You could see a rematch there at, are they at the same sectional?
No, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, they're not. McPeak's at West Branch, Triway's at Northwest.
Okay. But that could be like you could see a rematch and a go-to-state match. Those two wrestlers both pretty tough.
Yeah. You know the district climate a lot better than me. Both of those are kind of fringe guys to get out at Alliance, right? Is there a definitive favorite there? 52?
At 52, it would probably be... I'm blanking.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably see Lake there from Coventry.
Yeah.
He was the district champ at 45 last year.
Yeah.
You might see either Spencer Nagy from Alliance,
yeah.
Who was a state alternate, or you might see Christian Jackson back down at 52, because I think that's where he's certified at. He was a state placer last year, finishing 8th around that weight, so you probably see guys like that.
Yeah, I haven't seen any results for Jackson this year yet. Is he? You might know. Is he hurt or?
I don't know what the deal was. I was asking somebody about that. They just said that he wasn't in at the time, but hopefully he comes back soon. Alliance has got some pretty good freshmen to go with.
Yeah.
Some pretty established kids like Jackson and Nagy in the
Yeah.
lineup this year.
Let's see. At 170, Sonny Cantfield from Southeast. Uh, he's been a fringed low placer in the PTC the last couple years. I've seen his name every year that that he's wrestled. I don't know if he's a senior this year or not. He was first place at WIT over Williams from Norton, who just placed at Hudson, I think third. This is C.J. Williams. Let's see, I'm kind of losing some. Okay, Tyler Dose from Southeast. Now, he just pinned a good kid that surprised me in a duel last week. I'm trying to think of who it was, but I know Dose is a name from back when my kids were wrestling in Alliance, the Southeast, and so he's a kid to watch. Let's see, I'm not seeing, I think it's first place match. Yeah, my printer kind of died, and I'm having some troubles here. Okay, that pretty much does that. So that's what we're looking at PTC right now in my mind. Unless something changes, and we will have another show before the match. I'm thinking, we know it's Norton and Crestwood in the Metro. Southeast is the definitive favorite right now in the county. Woodridge is about the only team that can have anything to say about that. I'm pretty sure that Southeast, I know they beat Richtown. And those three teams are pretty much head and shoulders above the rest just because of their numbers. They're fielding pretty much full teams. Coventry, Crestwood, Ravenna has been beaten by both Ravenna beat Norton, and Norton beat Coventry. Yeah, we'll see what happens. There might be tri-champs in the Metro. I'll have a little bit more information. We'll do a little bit better on this come next week. We're going to try to do Jackson Milton tournament on the 3rd. And do another one of these shows, wrestling information shows, on the 5th, Monday. We'll do it Monday night and probably tape it Monday night. You'll probably get it Tuesday. I'm going to turn over the microphone, unless I have something to jump in about, to Max, and he's going to go over these holiday tournaments, which have a lot of local teams, a lot of local talent.
Okay. First, we'll talk about the KIT. I think Crestwood's there,
yeah.
Ravenna, and are there any other?
Streetsboro.
Streetsboro's there too. That's right. And it's not quite on the same scale as Breckville and Medina, obviously, but you still get some real good matchups there. At 113, you got a lot of talent back. You got, speaking of Crestwood, you got Ondash there.
Oh yeah.
He's a tough kid. It looks like you could have 3 state qualifiers potentially at this weight. You got Harry Fewer from Mayfield, who was 8th in the state in D1 last year. You got Charlie Nash from Norwalk, who was 8th in D2. And then you got Dante Giannetti, who was 6th at the district last year, a state qualifier the year before. He actually he pinned Nash in the KIT last year, but lost to Fewer in the finals. And you could see it'd be I think Ondash actually, both Nash and Ondash lost to Giannetti early on, but came back and wrestled for 3rd and 4th at that tournament. And you could see Roland at 220. He seems like he's probably the guy to beat unless he makes the cut to
at KIT.
Yeah, at the KIT, unless he makes the drop to 195. You might see Gilmore from East Lake North. He hasn't really wrestled yet this year, but he is a tough, he could be a state qualifier out of the Mentor District at 220 this year, but obviously he's got to get into the lineup at some time. And then you got Coleman. He's got a good shot at being a finalist.
For Crestwood?
Yeah, for Crestwood. Ricky Coleman at 182. Should be a pretty good weight. You got Mike Lewis, who won the tournament the last 2 years for Parma, probably at that weight. He just cut from 95 down to 182 this last week, and I think Coleman finished maybe second at a Solon early in the
Yeah,
year.
he did. He got beat by the Lake Catholic kid Zepp.
Zepp, yeah, lost to Zepp in the finals.
And Zepp beat him in a dual meet also. So there's
Pretty close matches.
yeah, they're within a couple points of each other. I'm looking at your list here. Now Lewis, you mentioned he just won Hudson at 182.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think he beat state qualifier Jordan Radich from Howland like 7-1 in the finals.
Yeah.
And then I think he might have like teched his kid in the finals. He's seems like he improves like to another plateau every year. Real good.
Yeah, Lewis.
Real tough wrestler.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then another PTC potential winner you could see is Winning at 170. Brandon Winning was 8th in the state last year, wrestling for Ravenna. I think at the same weight, 170.
Yeah.
He I think he lost his first match, but pulled off an upset beat Lane Thomas in overtime. St. Paris Graham kid who was 5th in the state the year before. So obviously Winning, appropriate. Yeah, appropriate name for such a tough kid.
Yeah.
And you could see him wrestle Audie from Poland. I think he actually wrestled Audie's brother last year.
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah. Wrestled Mike, who was actually would have been for 7th and 8th because Mike was 7th in the state last year. So you could see a rematch, at least in the family, between Winning and Audie.
Yeah.
I think Pie Valley has a pretty good freshman at this weight. The kid's name is Gage Willis, and he was 6th at the middle school state tournament last year. It looks like he could be somebody to keep an eye on. Another rematch that you could potentially see is at 152. It looks like Mario Graziani from Boardman might be cutting to 152 from 160. He was 8th in the state last year in D1, and Fairfield always comes up for this tournament, and they look like they might be the pre-tournament favorites, at least as far as teams go. And obviously D1 school, Fairfield's always.
I don't really know a lot about them, but I know that they always have some good kids at this tournament.
Yeah. And they have Dylan Lenev at 152, and he actually wrestled Graziani at the state tournament last year, and Graziani I think beat him in their match to place. So that would have been the match to earn all state honors and to make it to the podium. Graziani beat him last year, and you could see that rematch in the KIT finals this week. At 145, you could see Roble from Crestwood. He looks like he's probably the tournament favorite. You got a tough kid like Kirsch from Orange who could be there. Adam Kirsch.
And speaking of Kirsch, let's see. He finished second. He finished second to Hagenbusch at Hudson. 3-1 was the final there. So Kirsch the district qualifier last year for Orange.
Okay. Yeah. Tough kid. I think he might have finished second at the North Coast Classic a couple weeks ago. Might have lost second or third. I think he lost to Ryan Montgomery from Madison, who was a state placer last year. 138, you could see probably Tyler Workman's going to win the tournament again.
Parma kid?
Yeah, Parma kid. Real tough. State qualifier last year. He's pretty much been rolling through. I think Parma was at maybe the Paul McGee at Aurora or something like that, and then they were at Hudson last week, and he pretty much just rolled through those two tournaments. He could see district placer Regal Budo. I hope I'm saying that.
Regal Budo,
Regal Budo.
From Orange.
Yeah, he could be at that weight. Dantimo from Streetsboro.
Yeah,
Dantimo. Okay, yeah. He's a tough kid.
Dantimo finished second at Hudson.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that'd be a rematch. Then you could see
Workman beat him real bad. I mean, beat him, but I don't think it was a tech, but it was a pretty high score.
Yeah, and you could potentially see that as a rematch this week. You could also see Sam Meddings from Fairfield up at this tournament. He was a freshman last year for Fairfield. He did pretty well at the SWOWCA, SWOWCA, the big tournament down in the Southwest last week. I'm thinking he might have been like 4th or 5th, but I can't really remember.
Yeah.
Another pretty tough weight, you could see 126. You got Andre Stowers from Maple Heights, who was state alternate a couple years ago. You have Rezabek from Streetsboro, another really good kid at that weight. And you could see Brogan Lovejoy from Ravenna, although he might be down at 120.
Yeah, he might be 20. He wrestled 26 in the duel last week, Crestwood and Ravenna, but I'm pretty sure he weighed in at 120.
Okay.
I didn't bring my weighing sheets, but I do have them. But I'm pretty sure that he was at 120 and they jumped him up.
Okay. If he's at 120, you might see him. He might be the tournament favorite actually at that weight. You got Hoberny, who was a state qualifier from East Lake North. I think Lovejoy might actually pinned him at the KIT last year. I could be wrong, but I think Brogan might have been like fourth. I think he lost to like Stowers for third and fourth at this tournament last year. You could see Mitch Scleras from Pie Valley, freshman state qualifier last year. He could be there at 120. Ray Porter from Strongsville, another real tough kid, kind of got bumped out of the lineup by state placer. Can't remember his name. Lambert from who's now at Brunswick this year.
Garrett Lambert.
Yeah, Garrett Lambert from Brunswick. And then I think like one other note would just be at 106 you could see freshman Shupp from Fairfield. He was a middle school state placer last year, and you might see Noah Georgian from Kenston make the cut down.
Yeah.
There's kind of been reports that he might be at 106, he might be at 113, probably a state qualifier contender at either weight.
Yeah, he's been around for a couple years, and I've seen nothing but good results from him. What do you think team-wise? We don't have a list of the teams, but you pretty much know who's going to be there.
I would say like Fairfield's probably the favorite. You know, it's a big school. They did real well at the Swalka last year.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's what they call it. And then Crestwood's probably, going to be right up there.
Yeah.
And at least in terms of individuals, you got guys like, Coleman's going to be there. Robles going to be there. They're going to have competitive guys at the top. It's going to be a tough team race, but I just don't know if they're going to be quite on the level of a Fairfield team, which is probably, it's going to be a solid guy just at every single weight.
Right. It's when you get out of most of the tournaments this time of year are local tournaments. We're getting into the holiday season where teams are going to able to travel because of no school, and Fairfield is tough. I see that you got Maple Heights and Parma down there. Now, what did Parma do at the McGee tournament? I know that Rootstown won it, the Aurora tournament.
I don't remember the team scores, but I know they had some real good individuals with like Lewis and Workman winning it. But I think the driver might have been like second, third, something like that.
How do you? Because Sagendi is he on the team this year, or did he graduate? Because I know that he was 19 or 26 last year. Because Sagendi he might have graduated.
Okay.
I know if he is there.
I know what you're talking about. I think it might have been Songhetti, maybe.
Yeah, okay.
But that's just a guess too. So he graduated last year. He was a pretty tough kid.
Yeah.
He was always like a top 3 type of kid at this tournament at Hudson, at Paul McGee, stuff like that.
Right.
He just graduated.
I'm looking at your list here to see if we missed any weight classes.
160. You probably see Noah Edwards, state qualifier, as the favorite from Twinsburg. Heavyweight, you see a tough kid from the Central District, Eubanks. He wrestles for Reynoldsburg, and he might see a guy like Lorenz Robertson from Maple Heights. I thought Robertson might cut down to 220, but Boro fan was saying that he's weighing like 260, so probably not making the cut at that point.
Robertson, I've seen results for him for the last 3 years. I think he was a freshman 2 years ago, and I don't know if he's brother, cousin, or what, but the Robertson family and Maple Heights go hand in hand. It seems like there's always 1 or 2 or 3 of them on the team, and they vary in weight so much. There's usually a couple of them down in the lower weights. I haven't seen Maple's lineup this year, but they usually have some good individuals also.
Yeah, definitely.